Hello, everybody, and welcome to this month's Expert Meetup for Airbnb hosts. For those of you who have attended the past events, you'll be able to tell everybody just how much knowledge you gained from the one that we had about linen, where the expert on linen in the country came to speak to us and told us exactly the differences between the different fabric types and what to get and what not to get and how to do effective stain removal and everything else in between. And for those of you who attended the load shedding solutions for Airbnb hosts, you will know so much more now about kilowatt hours and all those fancy terms that maybe before you didn't know about. And not only that, but also what load shedding solutions are the best for your specific application. And if you attended the one last month, you will know exactly how to structure your Airbnb business for maximum, optimum tax efficiency. As you know by now, these expert events happen every single month. And this month is all about automation. Now, a lot can be said about automation. Some people are dead against it, and they say it takes the human factor out of it and the warm, fuzzy feelings. And others say it's fabulous. Put your whole business on autopilot because you're going to save so much time and money, and you can just press a button and go on holiday. I believe that it's important to strike a balance between the two so that you have the best of both worlds. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of why we are here today, let's have a look at what a few other people had to say about whether to automate or not to automate. Bill Gates says automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. So don't think automation is going to fix your problems for you. You need to have all the right systems and procedures in place. Otherwise, automation is not going to work for you. Walter Lippmann said, you can't endow even the best machine with initiative. So let's dive straight in and have a look at the topics that we're going to be discussing at this session. There are just so many automation options, and I know not all these automation options are for everybody, but I'm going to give you a brief overview of most of them. The first one is about automated check-in, and I'm going to bring you an expert to tell you exactly what is available out there to Airbnb hosts to make your life so much easier. Then we're going to talk about automated messages, smart geysers, concierge services, pricing tools, property management software, and those are all things that you can automate in your business. And then right at the end, don't go away, stick it out until the end because there's a special giveaway from our expert speaker this month. And just to let you know, I don't get any payment from any of the experts who come to speak to us. There's no kickback, there's no nothing. I just bring you exactly what it is that I think that has helped me and that I think can help you. And then we're going to have a Q&A either right at the end or as we go through the different topics. I'll have a look at the chat box and I'll see if there are any questions that can be answered immediately. Right, so let's start with the first item on the agenda, and that's automated check-in. Igloohome is an international product, extremely, extremely big in the USA, but they also have a footprint now in South Africa. And the distributor in South Africa is a company by the name of Agent Zero. And the head at Agent Zero is Donavan Nicholls, a young gentleman who gives absolutely superb service. I have been using smart locks at my Airbnb property since 2017. And I've recently made the switch to Igloohome because of the features that they have that really benefit you if you are renting on the Airbnb platform. And it just makes my life so easy. So let's have a look. I went to Igloohome's offices in South Africa and I had an interview with Donovan, and he set up a fabulous display and demonstrated all the different products that they have that are suitable for Airbnb applications. So let's head over to the interview that I recorded with him, and then we'll discuss it a bit further afterwards.
If you've ever had an Airbnb guest who lost his keys, you will know exactly the drama that goes hand in hand with that, in having the keys replaced, the lock replaced, and all of that. And what if you don't even live close to your property? What if you live in Cape Town and your Airbnb is in Johannesburg or in Barcelona for that matter? How do you go about making access easy for guests? Well, I've got some great solutions for you today. I have used the igloohome system myself. I've installed it in my most recent Airbnb a few weeks ago. And I'm here with Donavan. They have the distributorship in South Africa for igloohome, and I'm going to hand over to him and let him explain to you the different products that they have on offer, and then you can choose which one is going to be best for your specific Airbnb application. Donavan, over to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so igloohome has a product for everybody here, especially as a South African living amongst certain things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. But I would like to make a key point about automation for what it actually is. And automation is something that helps us do our daily tasks very easily, and by doing that accurately without human interference, we are able to scale that up on a different level. We can literally reduce our different costs, we can reduce all our different issues that we have that have any different form of human intervention. It's the best way. Now, if you want to apply automation to something that we have here for smart locks, this is quite an important thing. So keys, I want to start with actual keys first, just to show you guys what a key box 3 is. So this is important. So this is the key box 3. You can see the packaging.
I think some people are familiar with the lockbox version that you can buy at a lot of the hardware stores, but this one looks very zooty, and very excited about this.
Yeah, so every single one of our products on the igloohome works off the same operating system. It's the same platform, the same app, so that you're able to just add different products and everything works together. So this is the keybox 3 itself, so you can see the product. I have my app open here if I want to just unlock it the way I do, but let's just show you how it works with a pin. My grandmother's birthday. And then keys, cash, whatever you really want to put into this.
I like it because it's quite big inside, so you have lots of space for remotes and keys, where some of the lock boxes that I've dealt with, you know, they don't have such nice big space inside, and it looks very stylish, and it makes a Star Trek kind of sound when it closes, the sound. So very high tech.
The next step on our product range, which was quite cool, and I think we should introduce after a key box, is the smart padlock. So the smart padlock, I think you can see on the actual picture, it's got its own, so it's for different types of doors, whatever you need, your bicycle rack, containers that you guys are closing up. I know that there's a lot of containers going around for the load shedding at the moment. And then what we've just launched now at this time, right now in May, is the Smart Padlock 2. This is a military spec padlock. You will not be able to break this. And I'd like to challenge anybody that tries, to be honest.
So you've tested this, you've had somebody try to break this,
We've
right?
had that go into water, deep water. We've had that be driven over. We've had that on a hammer to it. We've had crowbars try. But you'll have enough time before you realize someone's on your property.
And that comes with a PIN code, and you can also do the whole code system thing via your app on your phone, and you can open it from your phone from anywhere in the world, or do you have to be close to the lock to do it?
So that's the special thing about igloohome. I'm glad you brought that up. So igloohome, amongst all the other smart locks, as everybody's catching on, is totally Bluetooth. We can't have anybody hacking into something that is locked up. It's a very important thing for South Africans to know. So we have something that's very special for igloohome, which is called AngloPin. AngloPin allows you to distribute PIN codes without having to be near the lock to set it up. So it's very special and key feature, because a lot of we've noticed through, even in Airbnb, there was a hacking of 12,000 homes due to Wi-Fi connections and certain things like that. So we remain a Bluetooth smart lock business. And if you do want to become, we are Wi-Fi compatible, but if you want Wi-Fi, then you install this, which is our Wi-Fi bridge.
Okay, and this is just a small little box that you connect to your Wi-Fi, and it talks to the lock, and that talks to your app on your cell phone.
Yes, and the best part about the bridge is you are able to unlock the actual lock, whichever one you're using, from your phone with a simple open button.
And you can do that from anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
I can sit on the beach in Jeffreys Bay and open my front door in Johannesburg.
Yes.
Great.
The next best thing about the bridge is it also gives you activity logs wherever you are as well. So you don't need to keep coming to the lock to sync anything and to generate pins while you're standing there or anything, because our technology and our servers allow you to do that. Okay, so before I show you the main blocks, this is something quite cool. If you're still the type of person that likes to use a key, then this is for you, because you are able to link this through the whole range as well. You can unlock your padlock, your key box, your mortise, your deadbolts with the same little key. You don't have to hold all your groceries like I do and then put your fingerprint in or whatever the case is. You can simply just press the button and carry on.
And it works, you can program it so that you've got one key for all your locks if you happen to have more than one of these at home.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the deadbolt 2.8.
This is the one that I had installed at my newest Airbnb a few weeks ago. So I've got personal experience in this particular one, and I absolutely love it.
So we want to show you this now specifically so you can see what the lock looks like before I show you the box.
Let me move it a bit closer to the camera so people can see. Very stylish.
So this is a broken lock. I kind of gave it to my friends and said, have fun, break the lock, because I need to show people how I can get into it if it's broken, or if my phone is dead, or whatever the case is. And it's a great little special feature. You go down to the shops, buy yourself a spare battery, standard spare battery. All our locks have the same thing. Now you can charge it up for the next 5
Keypad
minutes.
lights up, yes.
And now you can get into your property.
So now you can put in your PIN code and you can still open your...
Yes.
Great.
It's the best thing.
Okay.
Okay, so the Mortise 2.
Before you go to that one, this one has a feature that I'm not familiar with on other types of locks, and it's got a little thing there. What is that?
It's my little secret. We don't want to show everybody this, but we'll have to. Okay, so if you remove this little magnet piece,
That little cover.
you'll see we have a hidden space for a key.
Okay.
Those
so
keys are special.
That's a very special key that you get with your lock, so that you can also open it
Yes.
without, well,
As a
if the lock
fail-safe.
is,
As a
okay,
fail-safe.
as another option to open your lock in case something happens.
Thank you for
Excellent.
reminding everybody about that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so let's move on to the Mortise 2. So this, as you can see, is a standard Mortise 2. This is an older generation lock. The only difference between this and the new generation is that the new generation has fingerprints and an upgraded software. So if you want to show the box of the Mortise 2.
Okay, all of these look like hotel quality, very
Very good
streamlined.
quality. Our product comes from Singapore, so we know that in terms of quality, all our products are always going to be
Lovely,
fantastic.
lovely streamlined design with all of that.
Yeah. So with this lock, we have the same type of pin, so we can add our different pins, but it comes with a handle. So if you have a door that has nothing on it and you're now about to do your designs for maybe different types of lock, custom designs, this is definitely something that will work nicely for you. Door handle, same everything, and now we can kind of show you how it works with the app. So I'll go into my app.
I'm going to hold this.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
So I'll just go to my demo unit. That is as easy as the app is, and I'm going to press the open button.
Oh,
And as soon as the door
Just like that.
closes,
yes.
we will now show you as if the door is now about to close, and the door closes, and then we have auto lock.
Okay, brilliant.
Security.
People might say, but what about this one? It doesn't have a handle. And I can tell you, my door, where I mounted this, the front door, has a door handle, but you don't really need to have this extra handle with it. Because when this lock opens, the door almost pushes open a little bit, so you don't need the handle. This is perfectly fine for any normal Airbnb. This is what I've installed, and I'm perfectly happy with it as it is. Okay.
So the most special, coolest thing that we are here to discuss today is our integration with Airbnb.
I love that part. That's the best part for me of this locking system.
Yes. So if you have these locks on your doors and you go into your settings on the app, you're able to simply just add it as an account, add Airbnb, and you synchronize. Once that's done, you then, the client or the customer, whoever chooses your apartment, your house, whatever you're renting out on Airbnb, will then click and then make payments. Once that client makes payment, the lock will then generate that PIN for that time so that you have seamless check-in.
What I've seen with my Airbnb guests who have now used this lock on my new apartment is on the app, I can go, it asks you to link your Airbnb account, and then you can say which Airbnb listing it is that you want to link to this particular lock, And then the moment, or you can set it to say an hour before check-in, I wanted to send a code to the guest, or 2 hours or a day or whatever. You can choose how long in advance you want to send the guest a code. And then you don't have to do anything. The moment the guest, as Donavan said, the moment that booking is confirmed, everything happens automatically from there onwards. I said an hour before, let them have the code. So the first guest who arrived, I met them at the apartment just to double check and make sure all of these things are working perfectly fine. And there she had her Airbnb app with her on her phone, and there was a message on the Airbnb platform from Igloo Home giving her the code to get into the lock. So it makes it super easy. It's taken away those extra few minutes that you would have spent to manually go and program a code for somebody. And that's the beautiful thing about automation. It takes away those menial little tasks so that you have more time to focus on the bigger things in your business, so that you can stop working in your business but rather work on your business. Donavan, this has been great. I think you've got plenty of really amazing options, and I'm sure everybody is going to be contacting you for their next Airbnb. Just from an installation point of view, I know it's not as easy. Well, if you're going to be using the key box, this is pretty easy. I can buy this and I can just attach it to wherever I want.
Yeah.
But you are going to need a locksmith to install any of these options.
Yeah.
Do you have approved locksmiths? Can any locksmith do it? Or what do I do?
So what we do as a business is we provide all the information required to do those installations. Most of our customers don't even need actual locksmiths to come in and do these installations. That's how good the user manuals and everything actually is. But yes, we do have locksmiths that are in the area in Johannesburg, and we're now opening up into Cape Town and other regions. Just on the pure reason that Igloo Home is doing extremely well.
But what if my Airbnb is not in Johannesburg or Cape Town? What if I'm in Bloemfontein or Port Elizabeth? Will I be able to do it with a manual that comes with it?
Yes, you'll be able to simply give that to your locksmith, or be able to ask your husband to do the job for you.
Yeah, I'd hate to break my fingernails. So if your instructions are clear enough, I'm going to take your word on that one, because I absolutely love this product, and it is a reasonable price point. It saves you so much time. In the beginning, when I started doing Airbnb, and that was in 2013, there was nothing like this around. And the number of times that I've had to go and meet a guest to hand over keys, and then they're an hour late and you stand around and you wait, or you drop the keys off somewhere and you have to give instructions, or you put the keys in a lockbox and you say that's the code, but then later you have to go and change the code for the lockbox. And then still there are keys involved. So I've had guests who have left keys in Ubers, or they've accidentally packed it and taken it to the airport with them. With this, it is just a super easy, automated, high-tech, amazing product. So Donavan, I'm going to drop your details. We're going to have a replay of this on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to drop all your details, and then people can contact you directly.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for making the time and for setting up such a professional demonstration for me today.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Great. So as you heard, I have installed an Igloo Home lock at my newest Airbnb, and it is absolutely the reason why I love this product so much is because not only can you run it from an app on your phone from anywhere in the world, but it also integrates seamlessly with Airbnb. You don't even have to send the guest a code. It does it automatically the moment that a booking is confirmed. And then that's it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to lift a finger. It all happens even whilst you're asleep. And that is why I just love the Igloo Home locks. Another lock that I have been using since 2017 is the Yale lock. Now, Yale also has a big representation in South Africa, and the agents for Yale is a company called Assa Abloy. Unfortunately, they weren't available to come and speak to us and to do an interview with me, but I can tell you out of personal experience, this is the lock that I started with in 2017 when I started using smart locks. And this lock works exactly the same as the Igloo lock, the Igloo Home lock. I can sit on the beach anywhere in the world and get an inquiry from a guest, approve it, guest checks in tomorrow, and I don't need to worry about handing over keys, because I can just sit there, and with a Yale lock, I can program a code for the guest via my smartphone. You can also do it with the Igloo Home lock. And I can send it to the guest and he can check in tomorrow and I don't have to be there and I don't have to worry about keys getting lost, because I've had guests lose keys in Ubers. I've had them take them to the airport by accident, and it is just such a mission to then go and change locks and have new keys made. So that is why, as my introduction to smart locks was via the Yale smart lock, and it has served me extremely well for all these years. So if you have any questions, you are welcome to contact Lee Pillay. He is the CEO of Yale South Africa. And they don't only have Yale locks, they have a whole range of other locks that are used in the hospitality industry. So if this one is not perfect for your purposes, you can speak to them and maybe they can make a recommendation on something else that's more suitable for your application. But those are the details if you do want to contact them. So let's get back to the agenda. We've chatted about automated check-in. I'm going to just have a look here on my other screen and see if there are any questions. Lorraine says, Igloo Home, excellent products. Well, obviously you use Igloo Home. Yes, I agree. The short bit of experience that I've had with them since my new Airbnb opened has been phenomenal. And the service that I've had from Donavan at Igloo Home is just superb. Absolutely love their after-sales service. Zelda says, is this weatherproof and usable on outside doors exposed to the weather? Well, Zelda, both my Yale locks and the Igloo Home lock are mounted on an outside door. It's exposed to the elements. The one in particular is on a west-facing door, so it gets a lot of afternoon sun, and it also gets a lot of rain, and it's really exposed more so than the other locks, and they all work absolutely fine, so you can install them outdoors. And Lorraine says, okay, that makes sense, applies to a booking. Yes, only once a guest is booked and confirmed and paid and all the rest, only then does Igloo Home send them an automated message. And they send it via the Airbnb app, so you can see everything that happens and whether the guest has received these check-in instructions or not via your Airbnb app. And Zelda says, have they got something similar to be used on remote-controlled gates at entrances of yards? Zelda, I think they might have a product. You can speak to Donavan at Igloo Home, or you can speak to Asa Abloy. But, you know, the lock that is on my front door, both Yale and Igloo Home, I can control from my app. So I'm sure that you will be able to control it from your phone. If it's for a guest, I think it might even be possible for a guest to do it via their phone instead of being at the lock, but you're going to have to ask Donavan about that one. Then Jill says, I'd also like to know, can a code be sent on the phone, which means the guest doesn't need to get out of the car to enter the PIN? There is a possibility, because these things are so high tech. I would definitely, if I was you, just give Donavan a call and ask him about the detail around that. And then Zelda says, can they be installed on sliding doors? Well, it's funny you ask that, because when I went to Igloo Home's offices in Johannesburg to do that interview, Donavan explained to me that, you know, they have those glass sliding doors in that boardroom behind us where we had the interview. And they have a lock option that can be installed on a glass sliding door. So if they can install it on a glass sliding door, I'm sure they can install it on any other sliding door. Have a chat to Donavan. He's going to give you the details. Then David says, can it be installed on a security burglar door? They might have an option for that. It might just involve some small modifications to your burglar door, depending on what it looks like, because, you know, all the burglar doors don't look the same. But I'm sure if you send a photograph to Donavan, then he'll be able to tell you how and if it can be done. And Margaret wants to know about the warranty period. Margaret, there definitely is a warranty period. I'm just not sure. I don't have it at the tip of my tongue right now, but there definitely is a warranty period on all those locks. And I know specifically on the Yale lock, I ran into a bit of a glitch on the module that sits inside the door on one of the locks that I use from Yale. And it was beyond the warranty period. The warranty period was 1 or 2 years, and this was about 3, maybe 5 years into me using the lock. And I phoned them and I explained the problem. We did some troubleshooting, and you know what? They sent me a brand new component and they never charged me for it. So when it comes to the after sales service, I've been really chuffed with what it is that they provide. And I know that Donavan from Igloo Home is also quite happy to help you with whatever it is. I don't get the impression that these guys are all about your warranty expired yesterday, so sorry, we can't help you. That's not the experience that I've had with them. Then Mpai says, what about opening the gate before you get to the door? Mpai, I think it's maybe similar to what David was saying about a security door. So you've got a security door first, and then you have the main door. Well, at my apartment where I installed the Igloo Home, I just took the lock off the security gate because it's really not necessary in that apartment. I felt it's fine to just have it on the door. But if you want to have it on both, then you can certainly do that. Maybe what is then, that they'll be able to give you the best option. I would say have a lockbox on the side there so that you can put the key for the burglar gate in there, but then you sit with keys again. But that's another option that you can look at. Then Jill says, I'm thinking of gaining access to a complex via a number of gates, the main vehicle gate into a complex, and then various security gates. Otherwise, one would still need keys. Well, what I do at my sectional title apartments, Jill, is my phone number is connected to the main gate. So when the guest arrives, security will phone me and say that the guest is there. And then I'll open for them via my phone, like I would normally do for any guest or visitor or Uber or delivery. And then the guest will get into the complex. They'll follow my instructions to get to the apartment. And then once they get to the apartment, they put their PIN in on the smart lock. And then there is a remote for them in the apartment that they can use to get in and out of the gate, the main gate. So maybe that is something that you can have a look at. And that's it on the automated check-in. Now I just want to have a look and see. We're now talking about automated messages that you can send or that will send even when you're asleep. So you don't have to spend any time messaging repetitive messages to your guests. Let me just see, type a 1 in the chat box if you are already using automated messages, and type a 2 for me if you haven't used it yet or you don't know how it works, because I don't want to talk to the converted here. Right, there are a few people who have not used automated messages. Let me head over to my Airbnb profile, and I'm going to share with you exactly how to go about setting up automated messages. So when you head over to your inbox, this is where you will normally type a message to the guest, and then you will see a few icons here. If you click on the plus sign, it's going to take you to scheduled messages. Now, you might not have any scheduled messages, but you can go and manage or create new messages. And then this is where I have created all my scheduled messages. Let's create a test message just so I can demonstrate to you how it works. You will create a template name that will make it easy for you to recognize. And then you can say, dear. You don't even have to type the guest's name. You can use a short code that Airbnb provides, and it will say, dear guest, first name. And now you can say, you can type here, thank you for your inquiry. And you can carry on with your message and just say, give your check-in details or whatever it is that you want to give to the guest. And you can say, regards, Karen. And then you can decide when this message should be sent. First of all, you're going to select which listings it will apply to. So you click here and you click the appropriate listing, or listings if you want a generic message to apply to all of your listings. And then you schedule when is it that you want it to happen. Do you want this message to be sent once a booking is confirmed? And do you want to send it immediately after, 5 minutes, 24 hours, whatever the case is, and then you just create? And then the message will send automatically. In this case, we've said once the booking is confirmed, immediately after, send this message to the guest. So this will be your check-in instructions and so forth. But you can also say, I want this message to send, and I want it to send 2 days before check-in at 8 a.m. because now I want to give the guest additional directions or check-in instructions, and now I wanted to send so many days before or so many days after check-in. If there's a message that you want to send to them the day after they've checked in, then you can select here 1 day after at 8 a.m. Or maybe you want to send it around check-out, and you want to say just 3 days before check-out at 8 a.m. You want to say to them, just want to confirm your checkout time is going to be on this date at that time, and this is where you're going to use your short codes, and you're going to say the checkout date I want to confirm, and the checkout time is going to be that. You don't even need to type it. And you can just say, I want this to send 3 days before checkout at 8 a.m. You can create this and it will just send automatically. You never have to worry about copy and pasting message templates from Word into Airbnb. You can just go and do it straight from here. So that's all about automated messages. I hope that you found that useful. And if you haven't been using it, that it's going to save you a lot of time in the future. I just want to head over to the chat box here and see, do we have any questions? Teresa says, can you upload photos to the automated answers? Teresa, I've never tried that. And she says, I could not manage, have to go and fetch them from my photo library every time. It is for the parking spaces. Ah, Teresa, you know what? There is a fabulous photographic sequenced message that you can create for exactly that purpose. And you can take a photograph and you can say, when you arrive at the main gate, this is what you will see. Then you look at the intercom and you press this button and you take a photograph of the intercom and you put an arrow to the button they need to press. And then you will drive here and you will turn left at the pink sign until you get to the gate that looks like this, and then park here, and you can have everything in a photographic sequence. That photographic sequence you cannot set up, funny enough, via the website application, but you can only set it up via the smartphone application. So the app on your phone, you can set it up via that. I haven't done it for a very long time. I've set up mine ages ago, so I haven't done it recently. So I'm not sure if that feature is still available, but have a look because it's fabulous. And you can also set it to just send automatically. You can make it part of your directions, and the guests will see it at the top of their booking confirmation on the app after they've confirmed their reservation. Right. Then we are heading over to smart geysers. Now, smart geysers are fabulous. If you, for example, have a coastal property and it's not occupied all the time, and you can set a timer on your geyser so that it only comes on and off at certain times of the day. But what smart geysers allow you is a device that you install on your geyser, and your plumber can do it for you. You can order the smart geyser device from any of the big hardware stores or Take a Lot, anywhere online. And then you can just ask your plumber to install it for you. And it links to your smartphone so that if your property is going to be vacant for a week or maybe 2 weeks, it's now winter at the coast, so maybe you don't have that many bookings, you can simply switch it off via your smartphone. It's going to save you time in having to organize somebody to go there and switch it off. It's going to save you time and having money in having to pay somebody to go there and switch it off for you. And it's going to save you money in not using electricity unnecessarily. So smart geysers, that's why I said not all automation options are for everybody. You just choose from this. It's like going shopping. It's a shopping trolley. You just pick what is going to be suitable for you, and you leave the rest behind. Then there are concierge services. Now, concierge services is another one of those that I wouldn't recommend for newbies or people who have just got one or two or a few listings. Concierge services is very similar to a virtual agent. In fact, it is a virtual agent. And there are companies all over the world that provide these services. You will brief your virtual concierge service and say, when a guest asks this, you answer like that. If they ask about where the nearest laundromat is, that's where it is. If they want to know where to put the trash, that's where you put the trash. And you build a whole list of questions and answers around your specific Airbnb. You give it to the concierge service and you say to your guest, if you have any questions during your stay, speak to so-and-so at this number, or you link them as a co-host or whatever the case is, and they do all of that for you. Now, it is going to take a bit of time in the beginning to set up because you can't possibly think of all the scenarios up front. So they will be contacting you and say, oh, the guest asked if there is a doctor nearby. And then, oh, I didn't have that in my set of instructions to the concierge service. So let's add that now. And then they never have to ask you that again. And then you can go on holiday and you don't have to bother about answering guests if that is what you want to do. But all these services come at an extra cost. You're going to have to pay for the service. And as an old boss of mine used to say, the juice must always be worth the squeeze. So if your portfolio is not that big, I would say just do it yourself for now. In fact, if you do everything yourself in the beginning, you know later on how it should happen so that when you start delegating and outsourcing some of the tasks, you can brief your staff and your team properly on exactly what it is that they need to do. But a concierge service is really something that I would only recommend for people that have a large portfolio with a lot of short stays. There are also pricing tools available online, and there are literally hundreds of them. The most popular and the most familiar ones are along the likes of Price Labs, AirDNA, Hostfully, Host Hub. And what happens is you connect your Airbnb listing to that pricing tool or that pricing service. They call it a channel manager. And then that company draws, or that application draws information from Airbnb, and it automatically adjusts your pricing up or down depending on what the supply and demand is in the area. So it makes you really competitive. In South Africa, I'm very hesitant to use this tool because in most areas, we don't have sufficient critical mass for these pricing tools to really work at their optimum. So I know there are people in South Africa who do use these pricing tools. It is a little bit risky, so you need to keep an eye on it. And again, as I said, if you've only got a few listings, rather just do this manually. You will know best what is happening in your market. You can outsource your pricing, but even people who have 50 listings will tell you that it only really becomes feasible if you have 50 to 100 listings to link to a pricing tool like Price Labs or one of those. So that's what I have to say about pricing tools. And let's just see if there are any questions. Joel says Price Labs recently went rogue and a lot of price errors were suddenly detected by hosts. You need to keep an eye on it. Well, that's the risk of linking, automating, and then sitting back and thinking that your business is going to run on autopilot. I know there are a lot of people out there that advocate that you can do that. You can't. It's just not possible. You can use these tools to your advantage. That's my advice to you. Use them to your advantage, but keep close to them. You cannot just hand your whole business to somebody else and think they are going to run it the way that you would, especially if it's automated and it's run by computers, it's run by algorithms, it's run by AI. You always want to, well, I always want to keep an eye on those things. So let's head over now to property management software, or channel managers, as they are generally referred to by Airbnb. And what property management software does is if you are, for example, listed on various platforms, Airbnb, Booking.com, Lakislav, Travel Ground, Safari Now, and all of those, you can use a channel manager or property management software to consolidate your calendars so that if you get a booking on Airbnb, it automatically blocks your calendar on all the other booking platforms. And you also use this channel manager or this property management software to set your pricing. So you only use their software to set your pricing, and then it pushes through to all the other booking platforms that you are advertising on. Bear in mind that once again, there is a cost involved. These are all businesses that are there to make money. So they are going to charge you a fee to provide their services. And you need to work out for yourself, is the cost worth the benefit? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Now, the one that is very popular, and it's the only property management software of this nature available in South Africa, is called Knightsbridge. Overseas, you get Guesty, you get Logify, hundreds and hundreds of ones to choose from. South Africa, there's only one called Knightsbridge. You can use any of the international ones if you want. They do charge in dollar. Knightsbridge is very popular. They consolidate your calendar. They've made a lot of enhancements to their platform in the last 3 to 5 years. So if you haven't used them for a while, there are a few new features that they've brought in that has really been a welcoming change for hosts. And on the question side, Jill says, Knightsbridge is great, but don't just hand them your entire portfolio. I'm about to remove my Airbnb listing from Knightsbridge. It means I can control Airbnb pricing far better on my own and add the Airbnb bookings on their calendar. Absolutely, Jill. That has been my experience with Knightsbridge. Because Knightsbridge, I like to have a base rate of, say, for argument's sake, 500 Rand for the first person and 150 Rand per person thereafter. And Knightsbridge don't have the functionality to do that. So you have to just go in at a base rate of, in my case, 650, in which case I'll never get any bookings because I have so many single people booking or single guests booking my places. So Joel, I hear you on that. And it's a very clever move that you've done to take only your Airbnb listings away from Knightsbridge, because Knightsbridge also doesn't then allow you to run the promotions, if I remember correctly, the special promotions on Airbnb. Your calendar is grayed out on Airbnb because you have to use the Knightsbridge one the moment that you link. And with a lot of these channel managers, the moment that you link your Airbnb listing to them, you no longer have the option to have the split payment fee where Airbnb takes 3% and the guest pays 10 or 15 or 16%. It automatically switches you to the host only fee where you pay, I think it's 15 or 16%, and the guest pays nothing. So it does have an impact on your bottom line. Bear that in mind. And make sure before you connect your Airbnb listing to any kind of API outside link that it is or is not going to have that effect on your fee to Airbnb. Let's just see if there's anything else. Teresa says, that's what I've done too. Other platforms, Knightsbridge, Airbnb privately. So all of us have had that experience with Knightsbridge. So learn from those who have done it already. And Jill says, most of my bookings still come from Airbnb. You cannot have a different pricing for one platform. All right, so that's all about property management software. Now I'm going to talk to you about the special giveaway. And our guest speaker, even though he wasn't here live in person, but via an interview, Donavan from Agent Zero, or the igloohome distributors in South Africa, has given me a smart padlock to give away. And the way that this is going to work, if you remember from the interview that I did with him, he demonstrated the smart padlock. It works via an app on your smartphone, and you can program codes from the app on your phone. You don't have to be anywhere near the lock. You punch in the code, or you pre-program a whole lot of codes if you're going to have lots of people using it, and they can just go and punch in their code and use the lock. It retails for 2,299 Rand. Donavan is giving one away for free to the first person who orders anything via his website. So if you order anything online via the Agent Zero website, any of the Igloo Home products and lots of other products are on there, go and have a squiz. All you have to do is send Donavan an email and say to him, this is what you've ordered, and you want to claim your prize because you attended the automation meetup that Karen held for Airbnb hosts. And she said the password is #smart. And Donavan will throw in a free lock with your delivery of whatever it is that you order. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of this month's Expert Meetup for Airbnb hosts. I don't see any other questions in the chat box. Johanna says, wow, yeah, that's a great giveaway. Lorraine says, but we have already bought. I know, Lorraine, I've just bought an Igloo Home smart lock from my Airbnb. Go onto their platform and see. Maybe you need to buy a bridge or something else, and you can have this. Or maybe you need another smart lock for another Airbnb, and then you will get this. So Anthony Faris says, thank you, Karen. I'll email you and send further questions. Fabulous. Guys, please stay in touch. If you want to be invited to the next Expert Meetup for Airbnb hosts, then drop me an email to make sure that you are on the invitation list, or just keep an eye on my Facebook page, because that is where I'm going to be announcing the next Expert Meetup for Airbnb hosts. I'll see you next time. Cheerio for now.